Hello, my friends. Liberty Garden. Saturday, April something, probably 20th. Anyway, um, I just thought I'd show you something real quick. Nothing serious. Uh, if you go into the logging community, tree felling community, one of the risks that people talk about all the time, people who are doing felling trees with chainsaws, is a barber chair. And that's the effect that's created when a tree is under some sort of pressure, kind of probably leaning that way. There's some kind of lean to it, and you start hacking at it from this side. Okay, so you start hacking at it from this side. You put your chainsaw, bzzz, go there like that, thinking the tree's gonna fall that way. Well, it may or may not. Depends on the wood, depends on how much pressure the tree has on it, depends if it's hollowed out because it's rotting in the center, etc. Right? So the proper way to do a cut like that is you come from this side, create a wedge, and then if it's a real big tree that you still have the risk of it creating a barber chair, so if it's leaning a lot, you kind of put your chainsaw. You like right through the center in here, and then you work your way out like that. Hope you can see this. Yeah, so you put your chainsaw here, you drill through it, and then you work your way out. So that basically starts releasing the pressure from within to the outside, and you don't end up with this barber chair effect. And it's called a barber chair because look at this. This is like the back of the seat, and then here's the seat, and this is the back, right? Now this is a 5-inch little hackberry that was in the way, and all I had with me right now is this little hatchet, and I didn't want to go to the truck to get the chainsaw and do anything special with it, so I just started hacking away at it. But it did have some lean on it, so I kind of started going at it from the side here, right? And it kind of barbered up, right? I was kind of expecting that already. I mean, if I had been in maybe behind it, but right now there's some wires here. If I had been behind it, even the small tree will break your jaw when it pops like that, because it pops with a lot of force. Because the tree is wanting to go that way, because it's leaning already, and you start taking away wood from the back, so you start debilitating the tree, and then it's going to split right in the middle. This piece will knock your teeth out. On a small tree. On a big tree, it will kill you. I mean, it will kill you definitely. So that's just an example on a very small scale what a barber chair looks like, and it's something you got to be aware of when you start felling trees, and especially if you have no experience doing it. Never cut a tree from behind just like that, especially if it's leaning. Never. Always create your wedge in the center. You basically create a wedge, eat into it, and then you take that wedge out, and then if it's a big tree with a lot of lean to it, you go in the middle and work your way out. So you basically stab with your chainsaw the tree, and then work your way out. If it's just a normal tree that's leaning a little bit, kind of straight, a lot of times I just go from the back. I make my wedge and I just go from the back, and I always kind of look at the lean of the tree and go with that. But that's the risk. So. Just FYI, guys, just a little something that I thought I'd share with you. I stopped felling trees sometime a few months back because I don't have to do any more of that, but it is kind of dangerous, and when you're starting out, you're pretty stupid, and you don't know what you don't know, basically. I mean, I've took down some trees that were massive leans on them, and really, it's amazing why those things didn't really crush my chest right then and there. But now that I've been watching YouTube videos and kind of learning a lot and with experience and stuff like that, so I've been real lucky that I haven't been hurt or anything. But yeah, this is a very common occurrence. And if you have any doubts before you go felling trees, go look on YouTube. The proper way to do it, the proper way to handle a chainsaw, and also look into this whole barber chair trees and how to. There's a technique for almost any kind of tree that's out there. If it's a tree that's tangled up, you got to take that into consideration. If it's a tree that's leaning, you got to take that into consideration. If it's a rotting tree, you got to take that into consideration. Look at that tree right there. You see the lean on that thing? If you just go from behind it on it, it'll do the same thing as this one. And if you're right behind that, it'll tear your head off, or it'll come back and just crush your chest or break your chest, your sternum. Another thing is, for example, like look at this. Let me see if I can find it. When you're knocking down trees, you always got to be careful what's on that tree. Let me see. Oh, here it is. This is the example I want to show you. Okay, let me bear with me. So this tree, this hackberry is leaning. It starts on the other bank, right there. Now it's on the bank, but it's somewhat leaning. If you look at it, it's leaning right above us here. And it's kind of being propped up. So if you start taking, for example, I was gonna take this tree down because it was in the way of the fence, but I decided to work around it. But look at this. You see all those branches are being held by part of the branches on this tree. So if you're not careful, you don't look at that. You knock this tree down, next thing you know, either it hangs up, or when it falls, those branches fall on your head and you don't even know it. So you got to be real careful when you're out in the woods cutting trees. A lot of times you cut a tree and that tree has a vine. Like let me see if I can find there's these vines that go up these trees and they get real massive and thick. Like this little vine right here. These vines will go up trees and they'll get to be this thick, and they'll go up the trees and they get entangled. So sometimes you fell a tree and that has a vine on the top, and that thing drags something else with it, and it just hits you in the back. So just be careful with that, because these trees weigh a lot, and they're very dangerous. And I mean, it's very easy to get hurt if you don't know what you're doing or if you get careless. And a lot of times, even when you know what you're doing, if you're tired, if you are already too confident, you get cocky or something, that's when accidents happen. So just I thought I'd share this with you guys, and until next time, I am fencing this row here. I already put a corner brace over there, well, one corner post, and I'm putting another corner post over there, the concrete setting, and from those two I'm gonna put the brace. I got your message, Joe, about spraying Roundup in this whole mess here, but you know, that's one more thing I got to bring out here. Roundup and spray it, and it's a big old fucking mess. Basically, by the time we're done, just going back and forth, all this weeds will be trampled down. And we'll bring a weed whacker, and I will just whack the bottom foot here where the line goes, and that'll allow me to stretch it. So I'm surprised there's no ticks so far. I haven't gotten any. But anyway, until next time, folks, and catch with you later.